So this is interesting. Apologies for the fact I've only joined this BTCC race 18 laps into the race. Apologise. I don't know who won race one, I'm afraid, but they will be doing green flag racing soon. De Leon is balls up the order. Sutton's down to 5th. Looks like his teammates Row Bottom and Ballsport are struggling. Oh, and De Leon's taken the lead. It is BMW. Oh my god, look at the lead he's taken. By the way, the race has been extended to 27 laps now. Hello to the one person watching. De Leon is clearly a second ahead now. Rainford's up to second. Hill has dropped to third. And Morgan's down to 4th. What a disastrous restart for Josh Hill. The reigning champion just bogged off the line at the restart. Hello there, Kiefer. I do hope Colin Pinto does well, yeah, but of course, let me just remind you, Ollie Oakes has been sacked because it turns out his brother, William Oakes, has been found handling criminal assets. Now, of course, we have to remember the team obviously still has links to the Mazepin family. Yeah, Nikita Mazepin Sr., who, of course, Ollie Oakes and Williams Oakes, I think, are still in charge of the high-tech Grand Prix team, which competes in like Formula 2 and Formula 3. Mikey Doble goes off the track. My God, De Leon's 2 seconds in front now. Whoa, oh my God, that kid is fast. But, yeah, Ollie Oakes has now flown out to Dubai. And it looks like, I think, the Oakes family are under criminal investigation, which is why I think Alpine sacked Oakes because of what's been going on. Because apparently, I mean, when the Mazepin family got kicked out of from 3 years ago due to sanctions on Russia, I think it also meant that High Tech should have got rid of their links to the Mazepin family, but they didn't. So, I don't know what's going on there. And thank you for the like. Yeah, huge controversy. Hello there, John. It's T minus all over again. Hello to the new viewer in the chat. Hope you're doing well. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It does seem weird, doesn't it? I mean, only this time it's a pair of Brits that are scamming Alpine in the Oakes family, William and Ollie Oakes. And Flavio Briatore looks like the most normal and the least criminal one out here. My God, De Leon is absolutely flying right now. The F2 car got seized by the police, yes. Yeah, the whole high-tech operation has been, has had a visit from the bailiffs, it appears. My God, Dan Row Bottom up to 11th. But I have to say, there's not been that much that's been going on since De Leon's now leading by 3 seconds within 4 laps of the restart. What an amazing... Blimey, what a talent he is, I've got to say. By the way, he's only 20 years old, so I think we could well be seeing a future young talent become a take a step towards being a champion. Oh yeah, there's also been rumours that Christian Horner could be getting sacked, but that is just a rumour. I do wonder what happened to those allegations against Christian Horner, but whether they're true or not, I still don't know. But it does seem quite a coincidence that a lot of people like Jos Verstappen came out and said that Horner needs to leave, and then of course Helmut Marko came out and said he could have been suspended, which was quite bizarre to say the least. But yeah, I have to say, I mean, obviously Renault are desperate to sell Alpine, but yeah, it seems like they've tried to like sell the team onto some very, very shady individuals, which is obviously the Oaks brothers, William and Oliver Oaks. Hence why Ollie Oaks is no more. Oh, and Sutton's gone up to third. Spy's up to fourth. Rainford's gone down to fifth. Hill's gone down. Josh Hill's now down to ninth place. Yeah, I think the Thai owners of Creighton Yang or the Thai section of Red Bull are going to want to have Christian Horner remain as team principal because, of course, the car performance has dropped off horribly in the past 12 months. And, of course, it's only thanks to Max even appear to be competitive when the car is actually a piece of rubbish now, especially with Adrian Newey out of the picture. Josh Hill went from leading the race to that ninth place in 6 laps. That's crazy. That is absolutely mental. What a disastrous restart the reigning champion has had, folks. Was De Leon is now 3.2 seconds in front of Adam Morgan, who I know Adam Morgan struggled in qualifying this season, but in the first 2 opening weekends, but his race pace is gone. While Sutton is up to third, which, I mean, for some reason, Sutton and the Napa Ford team don't seem to be able to get a car hooked up in qualifying, but he's still getting a lot of points, so he does look like an early favourite to win what would be his 5th championship if he could do it. After his brilliant opening weekend at Donington Park 2 weeks ago, with 2 wins and was it a 3rd place? Yeah. Hill's back up to 8th, but this is a final lap, and De Leon wins the race off the go. Sorry, he's already at the finish line. What was I gonna say? Yeah, what Laguna Seca, the Torpedo and Grosjean are both competing together in IMSA. Oh, that's tasty. And congratulations to Daryl De Leon, who, I don't know, is he half Filipino, has just, I don't know, is that his first ever BTCC win? It could be, I have no idea, but what a restart that was by the kid for WSR Racing, West Surrey Racing, I think that is. What a performance. Absolutely nailed the restart. Got just and the fans are all applauding. Morgan second, Sutton the 4-time champion third, reigning champion Josh Hill down in 8th. Disastrous restart. Wow, what on earth happened to his tyres, eh? Camish, Hoare and Patterson failed to see the checkered flag. Yeah. I mean, if you're watching like some international feed or British feed or like ITV4, if you're in Britain, then yeah. God, saying a lot of the underdogs had a good race in the second race, which is weird. Got no idea what a championship order is. I think when they show on the TV screen, I'll tell you in a couple of seconds. Gordon Shedder down in 16th. Oh dear, that's a shocker there for the former triple British champion. Oh yeah. Let's see the championship. Ash Sutton is still leading, but he's only leading by 8 points over Ingram. Hills in third. Red Bull is now the wolf that cries wolf. Yes, Jake Hill third, Dan Camish fourth, Morgan fifth, Chilton sixth. I think De Leon's now climbed up into 9th place thanks to that race win. I don't think he's a championship contender by any stretch of the imagination, but what a landmark victory this is for the young 20-year-old. I think he was born in the Republic of Ireland, so I have no idea where he actually grew up. Yeah, I mean, the problem with Williams is that they don't have the biggest budget out there, so it's been very difficult for them to run two competitive cars over the last, 8 years, ever since Felipe Massa departed the team. What's his name? Sergei Sorokin struggled, so did Kubica and Latifi. And even Sainz, I mean, even though now obviously Sainz is at the team, they have to become a two-car operation. I mean, even he's having a few issues. Not so much because he's not getting the latest spec pieces, but more because I think Alex Albon has just got far more experience of how the Williams cars operates and handles through the corners with its preference towards straight line speed, compared to Ferrari, where Ferrari tried to make a more well-rounded car on the straights and the corners. Williams was the number one team for crash damage. Yes, obviously the amount of crashes that Sargeant got involved in the last 2 years also obviously has made a dent on Williams' budget. So thing is, though, I mean, there's no way Williams could have like a number one driver policy like they did in the past 3 years with Albon, because there's no way a driver with 4 Grand Prix career wins like Sainz is just going to accept struggling like he's been doing in his first 6 races. So we're going to see a bit of inter-team politics at Williams, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Williams management with James Vowles and the Dorrington Capital owners, how they're going to deal with that. Because, I mean, if Sainz continues having problems like he's done, then he's not going to be very happy. And looks like there's going to be a Caterham race up next at Brands Hatch. So, yes, let's get back to the Ollie Oaks saga. Yeah, let's look at the news headlines. This story is just crazy. Honestly, I thought it was just a case of, I don't know, Flavio Briatore being an a-hole and just demanding that he gets full control like he did when he was in charge of the team when he were called Benetton and Renault. But it turns out Ollie Oaks is appears to be a fairly shady individual. I'm really surprised. Like on Tuesday, Wednesday, I thought, wow, he's very unlucky. But it turns out he's actually been up to some questionable behaviour due to, of course, the high tech and the Oaks' family links to the Mazepin family, which all I can say is that, well, I mean, if you still got like working relationships with the Mazepin family, even though Russia has been sanctioned and, a lot of Russian teams and drivers are basically thrown barred out of international sport in general, except for maybe the tennis tournaments like Wimbledon and so on, due to the fact that, I mean, with tennis players, they're just representing themselves as individuals and not like any sort of national teams or organizations. I mean, yeah, I mean, he flew straight to Dubai immediately after Miami and did not give a reason to anyone in particular for why the hell he did it, which was actually very suspicious. Just so you know, Darrell DeLeon has won race 2 here at the BTCC. Yes, Robert Schwartz uses the Israeli flag. I know there've been Russians who are competing under the Italian flags, Kazakh flags, Uzbekistani flags, whatever countries are willing to give them like citizenship or like a sporting license. Although it's not like Schwartzman is F1 quality anyway, so that's not really too much of a story. Yeah, I mean, Briatore served his ban. I think it lasted like 5 to 10 years, so it's like, who cares anymore? It's like, And the fact that because he got caught doing it, like it's really hard for someone like Briatore to want to even like. There's no way he would want to be caught doing something similar ever again because he knows he's got a reputation for doing it. And if like Alpine profit from like I don't know an impromptu safety car where like I don't know don't not knowing Colin Pinto so he stops out on track and Gasly gets a podium place out of it, then I think everyone would immediately call Alpine plus ASAP, and I think it would be almost impossible for Alpine to avoid some major like penalty or disqualification for Gasly if it happened. So yeah, and the fact is, obviously, no, like in some cases, there could well be like just a coincidence that Colin Pinto just has an engine failure and he has nowhere to go but park his car in the middle of the track because his car just suddenly comes to a stop for no reason in particular. So you have to realize, like, the fact that Felipe Massa and Ferrari did not protest what happened at Singapore within like 2 weeks of that event was pretty poor on their own part. I mean, John Todd, yeah. Well, I mean, it's his fault, so really, but you know, there's plenty of people who've cheated in our time in F1, like you know, McLaren, Ferrari. I mean, I know Williams have caught a few corners in their time. Like, dude, Flavio Briatore is not the only guilty party. I think the reason why he's an easy target is because obviously he doesn't speak English well because obviously he's got such a strong Italian accent. He's obviously has a shady past before coming to Formula One when he was, I think apparently I think he actually lost his Italian citizenship because he was that much of a criminal. But having said that, I mean, Ollie Oaks is clearly not innocent. And we've had some pretty shady team owners in the past like that. I don't know, not Tom Walkinshaw in particular, but more the Nigerian guy who ran the team miners company that ended up giving arrows and nobody at all. I don't know. Is it a good move for Alpine? I mean, Alpine started last year struggling horribly with a car that was one of the slowest on the grid, but the end of the season with a double podium at Brazil. So I don't think losing Ollie Oaks is going to change much. And we have to remember Jack Doan was really struggling horribly. MySpace. Oh my god, I used to have a MySpace account. That's how old I'm sorry. I mean, honestly, it was so funny in that you could add Tom Anderson as a friend. Yeah, but that's a long time ago. I don't think. I mean, I don't think any of you actually had a MySpace account unless you're in your 30s, so or even late 20s. But I think what's it? Or once MySpace fell apart by like 2009 ish, and Facebook took over, then yeah. Thank you, say. William was arrested with a amount of cash. And Roboter will take pole position for the third race at Brands Hatch, and the race winner Daryl DeLeon will drop to ninth place on the grid, which is interesting. That's wow. Stopped at Silverstone of all places. And he appeared before Northampton Magistrates Court. And this is the important bit, everyone. The Mazepin family links. Dimitris Mazepin, of course, 2016, the High-Tech signed the keys as a driver, signed a sponsorship deal with his dad's company, Uralkali. So obviously, we all know he was always a paid driver, but then so are many F1 drivers these days. Obviously, Mazepin had a 75% sharehold, but then he was forced to sell all those shares to the Oaks family because obviously the Russian conflict with Ukraine. So Audi Oaks then became the majority shareholder last year. The holding company was allowed to create a separate illegal separation between the assets and its owners, aiding in the reductions of some liabilities and taxations. Oh, Mazepin, Dmitry Mazepin paid a personal visit to Audi Oaks at this year's Bahrain testing session. That's suspicious. The reaction after, Vladimir Kim. Who the hell was Vladimir Kim? Okay, I mean, obviously, yes, the Doan replacement with Colin Pinto thing has definitely played a role, but Tory says that protesters against that theory. Tory still maintains that he and Ollie Oaks had a good relationship. I will say you have to take that comment with a pinch of salt with Flavio, I will say, but a rich Kazakh friend of Dmitry. Interesting. Vladimir Kim. Wow. Order to be. Oh, that's feels like we've just been wow, they really are treating Flavio like the godfather here, aren't they? Okay. Don't know about that. I've always compared what's his name, Fernando Alonso to Jose Marino in terms of their personality and their spikiness. Although Marino's definitely been a bit more successful than Alonso, if we're going to be truly honest. I think, how many Champions League wins does Marino have? Is it 2? And he won it both with Porto and Inter Milan, who, of course, at the time were two rather unfancy teams. It's a bit. I mean, I'm trying to create a parallel between Alonso and Mourinho because obviously Alonso won 2 World Championships. Around the same time, Chelsea won back-to-back Premier League titles. That's why I always have Alonso. Don't know what's going on. I know did I do a video comparing Zlatan Ibrahimovic with Fernando Alonso? I don't even know how many years ago it was. I don't know what's happened to the Perez and Cadillac rumors. Is it really a thing? I know people are bandying, what's his name? That Colton Herta guy's name. Oh, right, yeah. Mourinho also won a couple of titles with Manchester United. Oh, yeah, because I know some people make parallels to Mourinho and Man United, and of course, Fernando Alonso and Ferrari, who both Ferrari and Man United have been on the downturn since the late 2000s-ish. There's a Caterham race going on at Brand Sash now. Of course, Alonso failed to win either a driver's nor a constructor's title with them. So, I mean, really, Mourinho was actually more successful with United when you consider he won an FA Cup and the Europa League, which were United's last trophy before Ten Hag arrived at the club. Okay, I mean, that's a bit personal. I mean, I don't want to be out here commenting on Will F1 because I barely have really, talked to him, to be honest, over the years. He's very stubborn, I will say this. He can be very with his opinions. Yeah, but if Alonso wants the Triple Crown, then what the hell is he doing in F1? Surely he should be trying to make, if he's dead serious, then he surely should be doing, a full season of IndyCar racing and, honestly, when he left McLaren at the end of 2018, he should have gone and joined, tried to beg someone like Penske, Andretti, or Chip Ganassi for a full-time seat. Because if you join one of those teams, then you're most likely going to actually, you will have a full-time pit crew who are most likely going to help you actually win the Indy 500 rather than a part-time pit crew like a lot of the independent entries that you see at the 500 do, where because they're only doing it part-time, that means their reactions during pit stops are slower and their strategies tend to be a lot worse than the full teams at Penske, Ganassi, and of course Andretti. And any of the other decent teams you get, what's his name? Dale Coyne. Yeah, but he's now going to be 44 years old. I know Castro Neves won it a couple of years back at the age of 47, but that's more because Castro Neves was our team at Meyer Shank Racing with a lot of ex-Penske mechanics around, so they all knew what they were doing, and he had a Chevrolet engine, so that's why he did it for became the first ever driver to become the first foreign-born driver to win the 500 4 times in his career. Oh, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it, McLaren? I mean, I know they took over from Schmidt-Peterson, but does Alonso really want to ever drive for the McLaren IndyCar team? Does he have a good relationship with Zach Brown? That's a really questionable one, and I think he did upset a lot of people at McLaren like he did with Honda, Ferrari, Mercedes during the 2007 season when they were working with McLaren. I don't know, mate. Alonso has made a lot of enemies over the decades, and it's not gone. We all know that there's only so far talent can get you in F1 if you keep falling out with people. People think you're stubborn, you're rude, you're selfish, whatnot. And I think, we have to realise Aston Martin is probably going to be the team Alonso retires at in terms of his F1 career, because they're pretty much the only team he's not fallen out with yet. You never know. I mean, who knows what Alonso might say towards the end of this year or next year if things carry on like they are. Wait, did Chaz and the Race did a video about Alonso recently? Because if it's not recent, then I have no idea what's it about. Which one are you talking about? I have no idea. McLaren, Piastri, and Norris, obviously. Mercedes, the same. Verstappen might... Oh, Red Bull might sign Hadjar. Sorry about this. He has a contract until 2028 with Max. Oh, right, what they did 7 years ago. You have to realise a lot's happened since 2018. Alonso won, and they won 24 hours for a second time, trailed to He returned to F1 with Alpine, fell out with them. And of course, he's also done his recent stint with Aston Martin. But of course, I have to say, the start of the season has been terrible for Alonso. 0 points for him, 16 for Stroll. And even though obviously Alonso is still the fastest driver over one lap, Stroll results. Whatever you think about Lance Stroll is bringing the bread and butter home. Alonso's just having all sorts of issues left, right, and centre for whatever reason. So, and he has made a couple of really crucial errors under pressure. Okay, that's a huge claim there. People believe that Alonso is the weakest champion since 2005. So you're saying he's weaker than Rosberg, Bottas, and Kimi Räikkönen? That's a huge claim. Oh yeah, I think Carl Lawson's already done the Indy 500 because I know he's already come out and said things like, "Oh yeah, I almost became an IndyCar driver, but the contract offer I received from some team in NASCAR persuaded me otherwise." And he's done sprint racing on the dirt oval, so he does have a fair knowledge of IndyCar. I don't know, mate. I think he's now already 32, 33 years old, so I don't know. That's a big claim, Keeper. That's a huge claim. That's kind of ridiculous in my eyes. I mean, you can argue, for me, you can argue Kimi Räikkönen at his peak was a faster driver than Alonso, but in terms of consistency, absolutely, Alonso completely destroys Kimi Räikkönen when it comes to outright consistency, but Alonso's failure to maintain good relationship with teams has been his kryptonite. I mean, Alonso very much was the more consistent, faster and more faster, the more consistent and a faster driver at the bottom when he were teammates at McLaren, so that's a non-starter. Christian Lundgaard, a future 500 winner? Maybe, yeah. I mean, I know some people have said Dennis Hager could be a future 500 winner. A lot of good drivers from Denmark and Norway recently have emerged. Yeah. I mean, as for Rosberg, well, his career ended after 10 years, and he quit because he decided one world championship and beating Lewis Hamilton was enough for him to be satisfied with. So, I don't know. I mean, Rosberg just gave up on F1 too soon to be considered to be like a real, true great of the sport. And you have to realise that modern F1 drivers don't get injured or hurt quite as much as they used to, and they, of course, we've already witnessed one tragedy in Jules Bianchi since, of course, that horrible 1994 San Marino Grand Prix weekend, which, yes, I know I didn't do any tributes to Senna and Ratzenberger this year, but I've done many tributes to those two drivers over the past decade, so it's kind of a bit, in all due respect, it feels like I don't need to do it quite as often. And to be honest, it's now been 3 decades, and I think in the next 2 decades, it's just going to become more and more of a distant memory, especially for like the next generation of F1 fans who just are going to have, some of them are going to have barely any idea. Like when they watch old archive footage of Prost, Senna, and Mansell racing, it's just going to look like a completely alien universe to them. And they're going to be more focused on like recent history with like what Schumacher did, Raikkonen, Hakkinen, and Vettel, Hamilton, Alonso, etc. Max. But look, I mean, Max, I think, will carry on until 2026-7-ish at Red Bull. I will say that, but it does depend on what the new Red Bull Ford engine's going to be like. Prema. Oh, yeah, Prema. That is really weird. I mean, Prema are probably the closest thing to being like a Ferrari-like team in that they're Italian and they have a lot of Italian links and Ferrari links. And the fact they use red and white as their paint scheme with a bit of green on occasion to show off the Italian flag. I don't know. I mean, it does make you wonder, will Premier be using a lot of Italian and like French and Spanish drivers because of that? A lot of ex-Ferrari men, like mechanics, engineers, and drivers. Just so you know, I'm watching a catering race, so this is a bit. It's not as fun as I thought it would be, but you know. They're almost like semi-open wheel cars. But I mean, with Max Verstappen, because he's been so successful, like he can literally negotiate whatever salary he wants. So you know, if Mercedes and Ferrari can outbid Red Bull in terms of salary packages, then he's probably going to leave, isn't he? Euler and Schwartzman, yeah. Fair enough. Although I think with, Raikkonen and Vettel have not really been consistent enough from. So, I mean, the top three for me has got to be any mix of Schumacher, Hamilton, and Verstappen, just for pure consistency alone. I mean, the only thing that Raikkonen and Vettel can really boast about in terms of having an advantage over Alonso, I think Vettel obviously more championships and wins and pole positions. Kimi Raikkonen can claim to have been the faster driver during his peak between 2003 and 7, when arguably, had he had a reliable car, he could have won all 5 championships then and made a lot. Well, boy, no, Alonso might not even be a champion at all. So. Unfortunately, had Alonso not won a championship in 05-06, I think his marketing value would have dropped and he just simply wouldn't be able to earn as much money as he does now. But his pure performances alone would keep him going, because obviously Nico Hulkenberg's never been on the podium, but yet at the age of 38, he's still an F1 driver. So I actually think Alonso would still be racing, especially with the fact that he doesn't even have a championship would probably make him even more motivated than he already is. Lawson, in an ideal world, would have partnered Verstappen, and Iwasa and Lindblad would have ended up at Racing Balls, but yeah, that's just garbage, isn't it? Oh my god, no, mate. Vettel is not better than Hamilton, and I don't think he's really that. Well, it's neck and neck between Vettel and Alonso overall, to be honest, in terms of overall driver quality. Although I think in terms of, like, if you give both Alonso and Vettel a difficult, really bad handling midfield car, then Alonso wins out. But if you give them a really good handling, fast car that can challenge for a championship, then it's Vettel who wins all day. So yeah, there's that. But in terms of comparing Vettel to Hamilton, Schumacher, and Verstappen, no way. Don't, like, I think it's almost a joke to compare him to those 3 drivers. I know Vettel's peak was excellent, don't get me wrong, but that Red Bull had a stable rear end. The Renault had great fuel management. Despite not being the most powerful car, it was a very easy, drivable car that was also quick, which made Vettel's life a lot easier, so he didn't have to, like, think or panic as much as someone like Alonso did, who had to drive that a fairly difficult and it's the word recalcitrant? I can't remember now, but really horrible Ferrari that both understeered and oversteered. Is it a word recalcitrant? I can't remember now. My memory's going off. It was like a difficult, like the Ferraris between 2011 to 2014 were really horrible to drive, to say the least. I obviously think it's too soon to call Max Verstappen the GOAT, but I do think he's already overtaken Fernando Alonso and Vettel, to be honest. It's only really Hamilton, Schumacher, and Fangio standing his way for now. And maybe someone like Alan Prost. That's it. He's probably already a top 5 contender. Yeah, respect to both Vettel and Alonso. I think we need to leave it at that. Very close for me, I will say. I will say, if Alonso stayed at Ferrari until the end of 2018, I think the gap between Alonso and Kimi would have also closed quite a fair bit. Because Kimi did improve when Ferrari gave him a better car. Obviously, he wasn't quick enough to challenge Vettel anyway, in terms of raw speed and qualifying, but his race pace was a lot better, though. Much better than what it was before. Even though we passed it in terms of his peak reaction times and all that, and his feeling for the grip, but yeah. And I don't think people would be like singing the praises of as much as they do now, because Alonso would have actually had to go into a championship fight with Hamilton. And had he lost both 17 and 18, I think obviously there'd be a bit more criticism of Alonso as a whole. Leclerc and Hamilton. Although I will say though, Hamilton at 40 years old is a really average driver now. Hamilton has really dropped off in a horrible way in recent years. The F14T, oh, that was a disgustingly bad car. The front end looked like it was a vacuum cleaner or something, like a Dyson vacuum cleaner hose. Second all-time already. Are we crazy? What were we smoking out here? Calm the hell. Williams, yeah, Haas, whatever. Gonna be Alonso's last year on his contract. Lindblad, Alvin Lindblad, I think is going to be a big name who's going to be coming to F1 now. This is definitely a guy I think Alvin Lindblad is going to be joining the sport. Could Perez join Alpine? That would be interesting. I don't know. I mean, don't they have Victor Martins on their box? I know it depends on how well Colin Pinto does, because if Colin Pinto does well, then he's going to probably stay, but we also have to remember Victor Martins exists, but Audi, yeah, we all know what their driver lineup is. Oh, look at that. Colton, Herter, and Bottas to join Cadillac. That's interesting. I think the only way Bottas returns to F1 is obviously if Perez goes to somewhere else, because I think Perez is probably first priority for now. Was Bottas with his mullet and his blonde hair dye just doesn't look like he cares anymore, does he? Yeah, I can't remember, but Alvin Lindblad is the next big thing, folks. This kid has actually been quite impressive from what I've heard. A British and Swedish race driver. Honestly, when I first heard of his name, I thought he's like some Jamaican patois slang name, but then I actually realised that actually is his real name. I thought it was some sort of nickname, like some Jamaican nickname or something funny. Yeah, I mean, this is with Bottas. I think Bottas has very much fallen out of love with F1 like Kimi Raikkonen did towards the end of 2021. He just doesn't care. He'd rather be enjoying his time with his friends and family. Fair enough. He's a multi-millionaire 10 times over, so, he doesn't need the money, does he? And he's already won quite a few races. In Kimi's case, he became a world champion nearly 2 decades ago, so he's always been kind of racing for fun since anyway. And I think Bottas has accepted that most of the top drivers are better than him anyway. Championship titles, the Formula Regional Oceania title for Alvin Lindblad. He's 17 years old, okay, and he won the F4 Macau race. He did 1 year of FIA Formula 3, a year of Euro Formula 4, and of course a couple of other regional series. I think that's pretty decent. He won 6 times in Italian Formula 4 and he finished third. Okay, he actually struggled in Italian Formula 4, but he did win 4 times in the FIA World Formula 3 Series last year for Premier, with 4 wins in 20 races. But he failed to get a podium and he finished 4th in the standings, but he was only 16 years old. This is not a debate about the GOAT, by the way. I don't want to get stretched. I don't want to be pulled into that debate. I know, obviously, Senna's also a regular mention, but his career is a huge hypothetical due to his early demise. He won 6 times in 15 races in Oceania. God. Yeah, he did his thing. It's not like... Oh, yeah, and Alvin Lindblad's already won a race in his opening 4 races of his F2 career at Jeddah. Of course, he sits 7th in the standing, but I think the fact he got a race win already is already a huge improvement on his reputation, a huge marker for his... Yeah, I agree. Someone like Fangio, Schumacher, or Prost are really GOAT contenders, with a Hamilton as an outside contender, but yeah... if you want to see Alvin Lindblad's face, this is what he looks like. I don't know. I think he's half Indian, by the way. I think because his dad is Swedish. That's why he's called Lindblad. My God, we've got a 4-way fight for the lead in a Caterham race. Blimey, this... I mean, if you've got like live a VPN to watch ITV4, then like go and see it, because there's some great racing that goes on in the British National Racing Series, like Caterham and Porsche and Ginetta Racing. Obviously, I'm not commentating on the race because I have no idea who the drivers or teams are, and they're all single mates, so... I mean, he's already managed to win a race in his first opening 5 races of his F2 careers. Who had... Oh, this is a great question. Which decade had the best midfield drivers? That's a good question. Nick Heidfeld and Jay Gordon Fisichella and Jarno Trulli were the stars in 2000s. Who else was there? I think Frentzen and Panis were there for the first half of the decade. Second half of the decade, we had Webber and Rosberg. 2010s, I think 2010s, Perez, Hulkenberg, Grosjean and Magnussen were the best drivers. And 2020s, obviously, Hulkenberg, Magnussen continued for a bit. Oh yeah, Kubica was there in the 2000s. I have to pick the 2000s because we had some seriously good drivers like Kubica, Kovalainen as well. Massa, when he was at Sauber, did a good job. Although, if I'm going to be honest, he was pretty much beaten by Fisichella and Heidfeld, but he did do a good job. Well enough to be considered to end up joining Ferrari. Yeah, I think with the Liam Lawson situation at Red Bull, I think he's either him or Tsunoda's probably going to get kicked out and replaced by Alvin Lindblad. I mean, I do find it weird that I saw Tsunoda's name absent from the potential 2026 drivers grid, which is sad, but I think it comes down to the fact that Aston Martin have got no room in their team because obviously Papa Stroll refuses to sack his son, and Alonso has a long-term contract, which really, like, surely either Alonso or Aston Martin need to realise that Alonso needs to go as well. I mean, if Alonso really wants that Triple Crown, he should be going to IndyCar racing. Like, that surely should be where Alonso should be going, the series that Alonso should compete in. All serious about getting that Triple Crown and winning the Indy 500, but the thing with the Indy 500 and the the more 24 hours is that they are like the F1 equivalent of like the FA Cup, the World Cup, and the Champions League, in that they're all like knockout. Like what you did before a championship round doesn't mean anything. It's about what you do in the game of the actual event itself. Like in the knockout round, compared to like all the other competitions, you get like the Premier League and the Formula 1 World Championship, and of course the IndyCar season, where all the points add up together and you decide the champion. With like the Indy 500 and of course 4 hours, there's always a stroke of luck that's needed to win those events, like the FA Cup, Champions League, and of course the World Cup, where sometimes the best team or driver doesn't necessarily win. Whilst compared to like F1 and the regular Premier League, La Liga seasons, usually the best do come out on top because they have to compete in multiple events in the year and add all the points up. I might skip the ball fest and focus on the 500. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. By the way, I think obviously the BTCC and the DTM events are on live during the Monaco Grand Prix, so I might focus on just watching the BTCC race before returning to talk about the F1. But unless there's like a huge, I don't know, something crazy happens at Monaco, like, I don't know, Gasly or Albon gets pole position, or there's rain on the track, I don't know. But I think if it's a weird race, then I might watch it. But if it's not, then I won't. So there you go. He told Norris he'll be in F1 in 5 years. Very good, but okay, well, I know you're a McLaren fan, so obviously, yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying what my plans are probably going to be at the end of this month, if obviously when the Monaco Grand Prix takes place and what happens, because follows the form book, then it's absolutely pointless watching. If it does not, then it's actually worth watching. But of course, I have to say the chances of a 1996 Grand Prix occurring again, where only 4 cars finish and Olivier Panis wins in a Ligier is well, frankly, about as likely as any of us becoming astronauts. At the age of 40, this is like what Lewis Hamilton said to Ron Dennis when he was 10 years old. Like, I want to go and drive a same levels of confidence that you had at such a young age is really similar. Sorry, the sunlight going away. It was a spur of the moment. I said to my mate, I'll be racing you in F1. You don't have to go to tell him, and alright, yeah. Oh, yes, I said it. What did I say, folks? He copied Hamilton. He wanted that. Oh. Yeah, to be fair to Lindblad, he actually does look like he's F1 material. Like, this is actually, like, some of his arrogance is somewhat justified, especially when you compare it to Liam Lawson, who the hype is he's horribly overrated. Ollie Rowland's also started a racing teams. There have been 2 Monaco races where there were only 3 finishers. I mean, 1996, I think, was the first, or the latest one. I don't know about the other one, mate, because I think you're probably talking about racing like the 1920s, 30s, or maybe 50s or 60s. In which case, you know, unfortunately, my F1 knowledge isn't that good to know about. But obviously, I think in old F1, it was pretty common to see only like 5 or 6 cars finish a race, like the 1989 American Grand Prix at Phoenix. I think only 6 cars saw the finish light flag that day. I think the Australian Grand Prix around a couple of years previously also only had 6 cars, where Roberto Moreno scored a point for himself and the AGS team in a piece of rubbish car. I mean, these street tracks can cause a lot of problems, but even in modern F1, it has to be said, the reliability levels and the track circuit standards have risen so much that the tracks don't really pose as much a challenge to the cars and the drivers as they did 20 or 30 years ago, I'm afraid. Especially in the 1980s, those tracks they had, like Dallas and Detroit, were absolutely horrible places to go to. Hot, humid, bumpy, twisty, really low average speeds of, like, I don't know, 98 miles an hour. I mean, obviously, they were still faster than Monaco, but then Monaco is just... I mean, the only track that's worse than Monaco is probably the Macau circuit in, located near southern China, which... I know Hong Kong is obviously more its own entity, and the fact that everyone in Hong Kong sees themselves as separate from the mainland Chinese population was because Portugal literally were forced to give up Macau in the 1970s. I think Macau have been like integrated far more into mainland China, so there haven't been like anywhere near as many protests in Macau as you've seen in Hong Kong, and there's only like 500,000 people in Macau anyway. Oh, 1982, how could I forget? Sorry, folks, I forgot. 92 Monaco, yes, that's it, but officially, I think there were 7 cars that were classified as finishing, which is why, I mean, I get confused on that one. Macau's even worse than Monaco, though. It's even tighter, I mean, yeah, you get a couple of long straights, but problem is, like, you need, like, I don't think the steering column has got enough steering lock on it to get around the corners at Macau, because I know, like, watching video games, like, you see like an old Ralph Furman took an old Jordan around there, and he had to like slow down to like 20 miles an hour just to get around a couple of hairpins. It's not like anyway, with the current F1 generation of cars, I mean, you just got older F1 races. It's not even like it'd be that fun to watch anyway. So compared to like the smaller 1.8 meter wide Formula 3 cars, where I mean, I think it's a lot easier to drive and overtake there, even though it's still very, very, very tight, twisty. Yeah, Norwell wanted to finish the race in 1982 because what was it? I think the Andrea De Cesaris, Nigel Mansell, I think and De Cesaris, Pironi, and Derek Daly had all sorts of mechanical issues that stopped them from winning the race that day. And what's it? Ricciardo Patrese took his first ever win. Funnily enough, Nigel Mansell, obviously Ricciardo Patrese actually spun his car, but then he got help from the marshals because he was in a dangerous position at a hairpin. Had he not been rescued at that moment, then Nigel Mansell would have actually came through to finish, but then he would have only had like 2 or 3 cars at to greet the checkered flag. So, but I know Pironi and De Cesaris still were given 4th and 5th places because they were like ahead of Mansell on the final lap, or was it 3rd and 4th? I have no idea. And of course, De Cesaris, what's his name? No, Elio De Angelis ended up being classified 6th or 7th behind Mansell in what was one of the strangest races we've ever seen. And Here we go. Oh yeah, there were 11 winners in 1989. No, 82, I beg your pardon, where there were like 5 or 6 drivers who won. I think there were 2 races each, and then the other 6 only won 1 race apiece in a year where we saw Jules Villeneuve lose his life, Ricciardo, Perez, perish at Montreal. I don't know. As a kid, I remember there was like a really scary statistic that was stuck in my head for many years. Like, what was it? Jules Villeneuve, being a Canadian, was perished at Belgian Grand Prix practice in '82. Then Paletti, being an Italian, was then lost his life at Jules Villeneuve's home Grand Prix at Montreal, and then 12 years later, I think was his name, Ayrton Senna lost his life at San Marino in Imola, which is obviously an Italian track. And I thought, I don't know what it was, but it was like, I thought the next driver would probably pick what would be a Brazilian guy, but as it was, no, it ended up being Bianchi at Suzuka, a French guy in Japan. So, well, that actually broke the pattern in my head. That was a bit morbid. Peroni took second despite not finishing. Cesar's third. Yeah, I was. Oh, wait. Whoa, we've got this ridiculous situation where we're all waiting at the checkered start-finish line, waiting for a winner to come past, and we don't seem to be getting one, Jameson. Skip that. What's it? Where's the race yet? Peroni's race problem. Should that be better yet? Oh yeah, 2015 Australia. I think only 11 cars finished the race. I think that's probably still like the last time we've had as few cars as the 11 finished the race. The Tetris out of juice. Mansell and De Angelis were 4th and 5th. And had Patrese not had been given assistance by the marshals, he would have actually, well, Mansell and Tetris would have 10-1-2 for Lotus that day. But it turns out that Patrese was more than a lap ahead of the 2 Lotus when he was rescued. So, oh right, the conspiracy theories of Senna's death. I mean, that's by far the shooter theory has to be by far the most absurd conspiracy theory I've ever heard about Senna in my whole life, to be honest. 2017, I don't remember. What happened in 2017? Was it? Oh no, Singapore? I think Singapore only had like 12 cars finish the race. That's all I remember. Yeah, Derek Daly, like I mentioned, was a contender, but his gearbox went with about 2 laps to go. So, and I think Daly was actually ahead of both the Lotuses as well. So, Prost was leading most of the race, by the way, until he made a really strange error when he pushed too hard and lost the rear end or something. I was very lucky to escape any leg injuries in the old F1 cars. I think Prost actually led most of that race, by the way. So where's the lap leaders? Yeah, Prost, lap 15 to lap 73. Honestly, this was a race that was dominated by Prost, but then he made what was a very uncharacteristic mistake with no pressure on him whatsoever, mind you. He was leading comfortably too. Like, he just made a really poor rookie error, by the way, which is so strange. But he did obviously go on to learn from his mistake because he realised driving like that was just stupid. I don't know. What do you? I think I don't know how many points did he score in 82. Was he? Let's see the driver standings for that season. Keke Rosberg took 44 points. Prost finished fourth and he scored 34. Oh my goodness. Had he won that race, he would have been within a point of Keke Rosberg at the end of the season. As I said, though, it wasn't just him that made mistakes that cost Prost and Renault a championship. It was also, I don't know. I mean, the fact that the car was so unreliable as well with the new turbocharged engines that were very new to the sport at the time. That cost him a couple of race results here and there. I think he ended up retiring like 7 times throughout the season, and he was put down as non-classified at Detroit. I can only guess he had to repair the car halfway through the race. I mean, with Prost, I will say, Prost could have been like a 7 or 8-time champion in his career because he came quite close to winning like 82, 83, 84, and of course 88 due to all sorts of shenanigans in his career. I suppose the thing that disqualifies him from being an all-time GOAT is because of his lack of outright raw pace, but I think a lot of his approach in his second half of his career was like characterized by the fact that he didn't see the benefits of driving so quickly all the time because of the fact that F1 cars in the 80s were so fragile compared to what we have now. But Prost was capable of being super fast when he wanted to, but it just didn't happen often. So yeah, crazy stuff happening in F1. The Ollie Yoke story is something that's probably going to be an ongoing saga for both. And 30 points away from 10 titles. Yeah. It doesn't change the fact that Madrid bottled 2 cup competitions, so yeah, whatever. This F1 is always got drama off the track at least. The racing might be boring, but there's always a load of people squabbling off the track. I mean, this is the craziest thing about Williams Oak is that he was holding the money in his hands. My God, what's going on? Like, he had that money stashed in his hand. He was holding on to it. Who the hell does that? My God, Lord. Happy birthday to Yuki Tsunoda, by the way. I don't know why. Why has he chosen to fly to Dubai? I don't know why. I mean, there's better places to hide than Dubai because, I mean, Dubai has become like a really fancy hotspot for rich people in like the past 2 decades. I mean, in Panama and the Cayman Islands, you are stuck somewhere inside the Caribbean where, like, obviously, since all the big business people are spending time in, like, America and Canada, or Brazil for that matter, I mean, in the Caribbean, you can isolate yourself a bit. And it was only just over 6 months ago, Ollie Oakes was announced as team boss at Alpine. Yeah, mate. Look, dude, we could talk about Ferrari shenanigans all day long. It's quite boring, to be honest. what if this happened? What if this never happened? What if Vettel didn't crash into Kimi and Max at Singapore? We could go on all day long, but I mean, the fact of the matter is Vettel and Ferrari just made a huge number of mistakes in 17 and 18, so it's all academic now. I mean, without the punches, I mean, Kimi was on course to finish in front of Vettel, so yeah, honestly, even so, like, Vettel was actually slower than Kimi in that race, funnily enough, so obviously the puncher which dropped him right down the order was really unlucky, but I mean, Hamilton had his moments of bad luck as well. Like, I'm trying to think, was it Baku when Vettel smashed into the side of him and it dislodged his headrest where he was forced to pit to shove it back down, and he came out behind Vettel, who already served his penalty, so that was quite unfair in my eyes. And of course, the championship is not decided over the course of just 2 or 3 races. It's decided over 19, 20, up to 24 now. So you can't just point your finger at 1 or 2 races. This is not like the Indy 500 or the Le Mans, where like one big mistake in the race can completely destroy all hopes of winning, and then you have to wait 12 months again to go again. Or like, you know, a Football World Cup or I don't know, Champions League, where a referee's decision or like an injury or a red card can completely ruin everything and send you not crashing out of like the quarterfinals, for example. I mean, F1, I think it goes without saying, is more like a Premier League tournament. So, you know, like, obviously I know Hamilton fans were salty about what happened at Abu Dhabi, but, you know, ultimately you have to add up all the points that both he and Max scored over 21 races that season. So, whilst it was unfortunate that Michael Massey couldn't make his mind up over what to do with the safety car, and for some stupid reason, he told only the cars that were stuck between Max and Lewis to unlap themselves, and all the other lap cars had to accept finishing a lap down, which was stupid. But I think, to this day, I think Michael Massey panicked. I just think he panicked like an incompetent buffoon. Oh, was it 13 finishes? Yeah, dude, I'm not that interested in remembering these sort of stats because I don't find them that interesting anymore. I think I've now come to broaden my horizons more because I have become more interested in ice hockey recently, which I know is a strange one because I've never actually had that much interest in ice hockey. By the way, the World Championships of ice hockey is actually taking place in Sweden. And Russia, like I said, are banned along with Belarus from competing. Now, this is also a very different format to what a lot of World Cup events are like rugby, cricket, and football, like where they just have like a group stage and we'll see whoever wins goes straight to the knockout rounds. I mean, in this tournament, 6 hours Spa, 12 hours Nürburgring. Yeah, they're basically the equivalent of like motor racing cup. Like the motor racing equivalent of a football cup tournament, knockout cup tournament. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if something goes wrong, like a bad pit stop, a mechanical issue, yeah, that's really unlucky. But in F1 or an IndyCar season or a NASCAR season, although NASCAR does have a knockout format, which I think is really stupid, but I think a better analogy would be like the BTCC or the DTM series, where it's like you have to add all the points up over like 20 odd races or whatever it is. Let me just show you the format for the Ice Hockey World Cup. There's a relegation battle going on at the bottom of the table, both groups. Provisionally, Slovenia look like they could be getting relegated. And of course, there are separate divisions in the Hockey World Championship where there are teams like Team GB and Italy that had to compete in the first division, where both of them came first and second, meaning that they will compete in the 2026 edition of the Ice Hockey World Championship. Obviously, Sweden are hosting it. I think 4 teams in each group will qualify for the quarterfinals. Of course, Finland, Canada, Latvia had a great start. Sweden, brilliant start. Slovakia lost 5-0 in their first game, but came back to beat their similarly named neighbours Slovenia in their match today. Group B, Hungary are sitting in the relegation zone, unsurprisingly. Was the favourite, well, 3 of the favourites, United States, Switzerland, Germany, are sitting in the top 3. Kazakhstan, look at that. Kazakhstan, what an excellent start they've had. Let's see their results of... Oh dear. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, look who Kazakhstan beat. Wow. Moving swiftly on, yeah, Hungary got destroyed 6-0. And to make matters worse, Norway have to play Czechia and Germany in the next 2 games, which is good. And America. Oh dear, I think we've got yeah, well, Team GB have just been promoted from the first division, but you know, well, I mean, yeah. Funnily enough, though, their goal difference is only -1 compared to -8 for Denmark and -11 for Hungary, so it's not actually that bad. Having said that, though, I think Norway will be playing Denmark, Hungary, and in their last 2 games, so that might make their survival battle against relegation might be a bit easier than what it might be for Hungary, to say the least. Well, I mean, Hungary are probably the relegation favourites in this group anyway, so there's that. There's always that. Losing 6-0 to America in your first game is pretty dreadful, to say the least. But I don't think any Norway fan can sit there and say that losing to Kazakhstan is a good result. I'm sorry, mate. Yeah, but it could be worse. You could be Team GB being forced to go down to the first division to play against absolute nobodies that nobody have actually heard of, like let's go. Division 1, let's see. Ukraine, Japan, Poland, and Romania. Good grief, that is awful. But of course, because Team GB and Italy have been highlighted in green, they will return back to the big division again for 2026. So, and Britain also won the group. I mean, 2 wins, 3 overtime victories, so they went unbeaten. And of course, there's Group B where, there's China, and Estonia, Spain, Croatia, Lithuania, and Korea. Oh, there. Well, I don't know. Okay, yeah, look, I think it's safe to say, what's it? Dude, I know, what's it? The big 6 of ice hockey is Russia, Czechia, Finland, Sweden, Canada, and of course America. So it's not like anyone really expects Norway to do a lot. Although of course Russia are banned, so it's only really the big 5 that are left in reality. It could be worse. You could be banned from competing, like I just said, with that other country. I think the 3rd race for the BTCC will take place about 5 o'clock-ish. I don't know if I'll do commentary for that, but could be worse. You could be under an criminal investigation by the British police. Ollie Oakes and his brother William, who have been carrying money laundering in broad daylight, which is that is stupid to say the least. Pole position was Jake Hill. Goodness me, what a disaster. He won the first race, Jake Hill, but then he finished ninth in the second race. That was, I don't know what to say. Jake Hill will be very disappointed with his, well, opening 5 races, to be honest. Whilst the opposite can be said for Darryl De Leon, who's just won his first ever BTCC race, I think. Is that, I don't know, does that win count include today's win? I don't know. Let's just see. Yes, it includes today's race, yeah. I don't know. I mean, ask any questions in the chat. If you got any comments, I might, Thank you for 5 likes here at Crystal Racing. I mean, it's not like I have an insane amount to talk about, since all we've been talking about is Ollie Oakes and, of course, the weird races at Monaco. Wacky races at Monaco, I should say. Like, don't worry, like, when Team GB return to the Ice Hockey Championship, World Championship division next season, they're probably going to get battered 5 in every game. So, like, you'll get your chance to laugh at me next season, at next year's World Championship for the ice hockey events. But then no one really cares about ice hockey in Britain, so it's like, did anyone really expect anything bad? No, absolutely not. Like, I'm just going to make these comments about ice hockey coverage in Britain. The only time I've ever seen an ice hockey game shown live on British TV has to be when the Olympics was being held. Okay, sorry. Let me just look at the comments. Pretty much every big racing car series has got 12 rounds. Yeah. Japan cares more about baseball. Yes, I know that. That's the same for Korea. Fair enough. Thailand is... Oh. Yeah, damn. Yeah, but I mean, the problem with Thailand is that Thailand I think ice hockey is still a relatively new sport in most of Asia. So it's only Kazakhstan where they have the experience because they used to be part of the Soviet Union. What was I going to say? Chelsea. Oh, yeah, Chelsea got destroyed 3-0 by Newcastle. Dude, I think it's safe to say United and Spurs gave up the league like 3 or 4 months ago, so who cares really? Like, I don't even think their fans care. It's all about the Europa League final with those 2 clubs now. Let's see. The men's championship, because of course they have to be inclusive now, so they have to say men's championship, women's championship, etc. Division 2, my God, what are the Netherlands doing so far down these divisions? I mean, Australia, obviously, I mean, ice hockey is probably like, I don't know, the 10th most popular sport down there, so no surprises. Iceland is a bit of a weird one because you would expect them to be into winter sports, but in ice hockey, they suck. Oh, yeah, that's really unfortunate, of course. They lost all 5 matches as well, and wow, oh dear, that goal difference is heinous. Yeah, minus 29, that's not good. And they will be playing in Division 3 next year. That's going to be a huge setback for Thai hockey. And they'll be... My God, have we played Turkmenistan, South Africa, Bosnia, and Turkey? The Kyrgyzstan, well, I mean, you can say they're doing well because although I think they used to be part of the Soviet Union, so it's not really that much of an achievement for them to be. I don't know, they probably should be doing better, Kyrgyzstan, to be honest. Hong Kong, Group B. There. Yeah. It's mostly an Asian group with Mexico in it. Although I'm surprised that Mexico do have an ice hockey team. That's really surprising. And then Division 4 is... Oh, Malaysia last out of everyone. My God, even in Division 4, Malaysia cannot beat Iran or the Rock Throwers. You clown show. Even they, oh my God, Indonesia actually won 2 games as well. But then obviously I don't think anyone would have expected much from Indonesia anyway, so I am a bit surprised that Ukraine are not stronger than what they are because they used to be part of the Soviet Union, but I think Ukraine's main sporting achievements when they were part of the Union was their contributions to the Soviet football team, where they produced many outstanding players there. Japan, yeah, baseball, you said it. Poland are notorious for being absolutely terrible at team sports anyway, regardless of what sport it is. Football, well, not terrible, but just really mediocre, average. Hockey, football, I think they can't qualify for the Rugby World Cup, so that's nothing new. I think their baseball team similarly absolutely bang average, which probably explains why Polish people get so excited when they have any sort of star athletes come out of their country, like that downhill skier. I can't remember his name. I think Robert Kubica in F1, of course. Barcelona have almost won for the 28th time the La Liga title for the 28th time. Yeah, they've been really good in the past 3 decades when it's come to the Spanish league. So yeah, well done to them. Oh yeah, 2011 Monaco. Was that a race that had a stop in it? A red flag? Oh yeah, I did say that the downhill ski jumping. Yeah, sorry if I didn't pronounce that word properly. Yeah, I know about that, but that's it. I know it was there was this Adamic guy who was so popular back then. Alonso put on the podium with Vettel, obviously. I could remember there used to be this Polish guy 20 years ago who kept winning all the time. I keep forgetting his name. It's so long ago. I don't know what happened to... Yeah, cute Lewandowski, yeah, but he's playing in a team sport. He's an outstanding individual striker, but apart from him and Milik and a couple of other players, I mean, the rest of the team are just grafters and runners, and that's it. Kobayashi took 5th. Wow, Kobayashi had a great race. Oh yeah, this was also the weekend when, of course, Perez had his crash in qualifying and he got injured, so he couldn't start the race. Biemi took a point. Barrichello, I think those were the last 2. That's the last time Barrichello took points. And by the way, Lewis Hamilton and Maldonado collided, and Hamilton was given a penalty, 20-second penalty, and of course, Maldonado got classified despite not finishing. Maldonado looked like he was heading for 6th place, by the way. Funny to think that, because I know Maldonado was previously handed a lengthy race ban at Monaco for like breaking a marshal's leg quite a few years back. Heidfeld was still racing in F1, but of course he would be sacked a few races later after Hungary, and that would be it for Quick Nick. Trying to think. Downhill skiing championship. Oh yeah, when you just jump up the slope and it's just Yeah, voila, then you get points given for how far you land. How slalom ski. No, wrong sport. Oh, God, I'm so confused. Do you know what? I think I'm going to have to look at the 2002 Winter Olympics. I think his name will appear there. 2006, alternatively. This is going to be a bit of a... Ski jumping. Yes, this has to be it, folks. His name has to appear. Was he? Yeah, there it is. Adam Malish. Is that how you pronounce his name? This guy was absolutely amazing back in the early 2000s. 4 World Cup titles, 4 Winter Olympic medals, 4 World Championship medals. Yeah, his name popped up all the time. He also went on to racing rallying too. Oh my goodness, he really was like, look at that record. I mean, 4 gold medals at the Nordic World Championships. Oh, he never won a medal at the Olympics though. He always was a pride to me. That is so unlucky. He was so popular though, like, there were always loads of Polish people turning about downhill skiing events during the 2000s. Blimey, his daughter's now already 27 years old. And he's not even 50 years old yet. Fair enough. Well, I mean, he earned enough money to look after the kid, so, I mean, who cares really? I know, obviously, when it comes to Winter Olympics, I mean, what's it, the Finns, the Swiss, the Germans, the Swedish, the Norwegians, the Danish are always good. I know the Norwegians are amazing at, what's it? Let's see what it's called. Cross-country skiing. Yeah, cross-country skiing, where you get to, like, go and shoot at the shooting range. Norway are literally goats when it comes to that event. The literal goats. 5 gold medals in 2002. Oh my goodness, seriously, Norway are just amazing when it comes to like cross-country skiing. Like, you get all my respect when it comes to that sport. No one can touch Norway when it comes to the biathlon. Yeah, biathlon. Yeah, thank you for telling me. Eddie the Eagle, yes, Britain's finest sportsman, Eddie the Eagle. What a goat he is! Absolute legend, Eddie the Eagle, the finest sportsman we've ever produced. Forget Steve Redgrave, forget Paula Radcliffe, forget, I don't know, Chris Hoy, who, by the way, has been diagnosed with testicular cancer. So, yeah, on a serious note, I mean, well, I can't wish him well because, unfortunately, he's terminal. So he knows he's going to, well, sadly, lose his life soon in a 5 or 10 years' time, sadly. Yeah, he was an app. Chris Hoy was absolutely unbeatable when it came to velodrome cycling. Yeah, but none of them are as good as this bloke. None of them. Okay, but all right. Seriously though, I mean, he got a movie made about him in 2016. He just did it for the fun of it. Like, he just did it because he just, I don't know. I think he became a celebrity just out of the fact he didn't take himself seriously. He was horribly overweight. Oh dear, he had feet that were too small to fit the boots, which is even stranger. He was far-sighted, so he had to wear glasses. Really not ideal. Fred Perry, that's literally a tennis player from the 1920s, and of course he's better known for his clothing range than he is for his tennis, to be honest. The IOC said that you needed to be ranked within the top 30% of the top 50 competitors. Yeah. What a shame. What a shame. I mean, he did inspire the Jamaican bobsleigh team, so... And he did go on to become a torchbearer for the 2010. He commanded fees of £10,000 per year when he was doing adverts. Oh dear. Yeah, I think you can tell from all the things he's done since he's a massive celebrity in Britain. I mean, I know you get some who say, why the hell are we celebrating mediocrity? But the guy never took himself seriously, and he always makes self-deprecatory jokes about his downhill skiing. So, I mean, you do get older people like that. I think some woman who lives where I come from called something. She's just really boring to listen to. Like, was it? I can't remember. Is it yacht sailing or something? Really boring. Like, just sitting on a boat for like an entire month. It's just so boring. And you just listen to talking interviews. It's just like, oh. No one cares. What's her name? What the hell? I don't know. I've totally forgot her name. She used to be on TV all the time, and everyone hated listening to her talk. There was just zero charisma. I mean, she was obviously great at like sailing and whatever it was she did, but it was just like, who the hell cares? Herbert Chapman, yeah. Oh yeah, I've already talked about Arsenal on my other channel. Like, dude, I think the problem with some Arsenal fans is they're too obsessed with comparing themselves to the other clubs like Chelsea, United, City, and Liverpool, where, I mean, a lot of those clubs' legacies revolve around just winning trophies and not so much their style of football, which is what I think Arsenal are more known for. I mean, Arsenal really should just focus on like what they're doing and what they're achieving rather than necessarily being concerned about bragging about trophies, which is something that also have never really been that particularly great at, unless they've had like, I don't know, George Graham or also Wenger in charge. That's it. That's it. Other than those three managers, along with Chapman, it's just Arsenal are just okay. They're always there or thereabouts, but they rarely ever win the big prizes when they've had anyone else in charge, to be honest. Obviously, Arteta's made mistakes, but it's not like the most shockingly bad mistakes like we've seen with, like, I don't know, Ten Hag or Ange or any other managers you can think of recently. Gonna have to try again, Dave. Honestly cannot remember her name anymore. It's just pointless remembering it. It's just really boring. And the fact she comes from the same area as me, it's like she got so much publicity because it's like the part of the country I'm from in Britain is like one of the furthest points away from the sea, yet she succeeded in a sport. She succeeded in sailing, which is quite odd. Yeah, but Arsenal are not like a super successful club by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, is it? This is it. This character, Dame Ellen MacArthur. I don't think she was called a cough. I think she was called something else when she was doing it. Swear she had a different surname and then she got married, so she changed her surname. What was it she did that was so remarkable? She was the previous holder of the fastest solo circumnavigation of the globe in a yacht. That was it. Oh my god, every time she came on TV, everyone better say. No offense, yeah, absolutely amazing achievement, but really no. Zero charisma. The way they talked about her, I thought they made her sound like she'd won loads of medals at the Olympics or something, or some other big sport. 71 days. Oh yeah, she had to eat I don't even know what the hell she was eating on that boat, because obviously Francis Julian's record, blimey. She had no more, no more than 20 minutes sleep at a time during the voyage. Oh my god, I get this as a great achievement, but honestly, in my head, it's not really an achievement that I would honestly care to boast about if I ever. I just don't know why people are interested in something like sailing, to be honest. Is that 49 trophies? Does that include, what's it, the Community Shield? Because I know the Community Shield does come up with a lot on Arsenal's win list. 49. I mean, I don't count the Community Shield as a major. Sorry, mate. It's just a friendly event. That's all it is. That's all the Community Shield is. It's a glorified friendly. Third most successful club. Yeah, that's fair, but I'm going to have a quick at honours. 13, 87, 29. I would say Arsenal have actually only got 31 trophies because I exclude the Community Shield and the League Centenary Trophy, which I don't think was a proper tournament, was it? Let me just check. Oh, he had 8 teams in it. Okay, so is this I don't know, this is a weird one because it's like, okay, it's not like a wave or anything, but it's like quarterfinals, semis, and a. Nah, that's tricky. I think you could make a case to say they got 32 titles to their name because the Community Shield, like I said, it's just an opening season friendly match. I don't really count the Community Shield as a proper trophy, so I think I will give also a bit of the benefit of the doubt, say the Centenary Trophy in '88 is an actual proper trophy because there was an actual knockout stage held for that. So I think fair enough. Yeah, that is an actual major trophy win. Even though UEFA do not count the Intercity Fairs Cup as an actual trophy, the fact of the matter is, all the teams who participated in the Intercity Fair Cup did treat it like an actual trophy event to compete in, since back then the Champions League literally only included the actual league champions when it was called the European Cup. So because of the lack of access a lot of clubs had to the actual European Cup, the Intercities Fair Cup became a massive tournament in its own right before, of course, UEFA then created their own UEFA Cup tournament to replace it because they realised that there was a lot of money that UEFA could make that they were not making at the time. I don't know why the hell. Yeah, but I think we should agree to disagree, mate. It's not a big deal. Let's look at the Drivers' World Championship for F1 since this is what my channel is supposed to be about. Of course, we've got the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, and then we've got three consecutive. Jesus. I don't know, mate. I don't count the what's it UEFA Super Cup as a major trophy either because it's a one-off friendly match. Oscar Piastri is your championship leader. 4 wins in 6. My God, it's so hard to look past him for the championship win. 131 points, 115 for Lando, and 99 points for Max Verstappen. Ugh. George Russell is in 4th place with a very, very good points haul. 93 points. George Russell has had a very good start to the season, even though he's not actually won a race in a considerably slower Mercedes. And I think he has single-handedly taken Mercedes into a comfortable second place in the Constructors. Yeah, second. I mean, Mercedes are now 36 points ahead of Red Bull. That's pretty good by George Russell. And I think having Antonelli as a teammate has really woken him up this season because he knows that his window of opportunity to accomplish a championship or anything major in F1 is going to be really limited with Antonelli bound to improve in the next 4 years. So for Russell, the time is now for him to actually achieve something before Kimi Antonelli inevitably catches up with him and probably will overtake him in terms of like being the number 1 driver at Mercedes. No way. Because the Carabao Cup, even though it doesn't have as much history as the FA Cup, is still a major tournament with like 92 teams and a full complete knockout stage. So absolutely disagree massively. Sorry. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal at all. It's just what I think. I mean, I know in Italy they have their Super Cup that has like 4 teams that qualify for it. I think that just complicates matters. But in Italy, I think they just do things their own way. I still don't count the Italian Super Cup as anything major either. So, other drivers, I think Kiefer Chu's gone to sleep. Kiefer, I don't know if Kiefer's still there. I mean, if you're not watching, well, have a good night. If you are there, just give me a wave because I know you're not that much of a fan of other sports like football or hockey for now. Albon is in 8th place. What a start he's had, folks. 5 points finishes in the first 6 races. 30 points. That's got to be his best points haul since for 5 years since he was at Red Bull. Rafinha for Ballon d'Or. Well, I don't know if Rafinha can win the Ballon d'Or now that he got that when Barcelona got knocked out of the Champions League. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the Carabao Cup, I mean, the timing of it's really strange, being held drawing like the first of the season. It's a bit funny, the timing, isn't it? But, I mean, I'm sure Man United have done one in the Carabao Cup, so I don't know what you're complaining about. Alonso, look at that. No points for Fernando Alonso. Same number of points as Lawson Dowen and Bortoleto. And Stroll is in 10th place with 14 points. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Lance has had a bit of luck, but the fact is Lance has capitalised on these opportunities. Alonso that's just, I don't know what's going on with Alonso. I mean, he's been close. He never been Japan. He never been Saudi, but no cigar. Um, I don't know what else to talk about. Let's look at a feature support series F2. Let's see what's happening. Richard Verstappen is the championship leader, but he's in third or fourth year of F2, so Pepe Marti, I've never heard of Pepe Marti, to be honest. What's he done before coming to F2? Oh, he won the Rookie Cup in the Asian Formula Regionals. Nope. Fordaroli, don't know who he is. It's just a bit. Alex Dawn is in fourth place. He has been given a bit of praise. Oh dear, Victor Martins, that's not good. He's like 24 years old now. He should probably be out there challenging for the title at this point in his career, not languishing in sixth place. 28 points. Oh no. How old is he? Yeah, he's already, he's nearly 24, like I said. I think he's in his third year of Formula 2. I mean, the clock is ticking for Martins. Gabriel Mini, another highly touted rookie, only in 10th place. That's a bit worrying, to be honest, because I think some probably expected more. It's only 20, so oh dear. And he's on the Alpine Academy. He does know how to solve a Rubik's Cube. I mean, I know what's his name. Ricciardo, who plays for Crystal Palace, became a chess champion recently. So, I mean, I know it's easy to get jealous of like top sportsmen because they also tend to be pretty good at other things, like things that don't involve running around or driving a racing car, like chess and Rubik's Cubes. Has to be said, Gabriel Mini's really fallen off recently. I think the hype around Mini has dropped off now, I'm afraid. Now his countryman Anthony's hit the big time in F1 Mercedes. Sebastian Montoya, 15th. Oh no, no bueno for Montoya Jr. Oh dear. No championship titles to his name. I don't think he's even won anything in karting, did he? Oh, he won the Rock de Rio once. 2 wins in Formula Regional Asia. That's pretty awful by Montoya Jr. And I do not expect to see this kid in F1 unless Juan Pablo can bribe someone. God, that's a really mediocre field for Formula 2 this season. I'm sorry, folks. Formula 3, let's see. Never heard of any of these drivers, but apart from Tuka Tappinen, that kid from Thailand is in 10th place. Singapore's Christian Ho is 17th. And that highly rated American kid Yugo Chukwu is, oh no, he's down in 21st. Oh dear, we're probably not going to see Yugo in F1 then. Rafael Kamara leading the championship, never heard of him. I've never heard of any of the top 6 drivers, so oh yeah, but it's only the first 4 races of the F3 season, so I can't really make too many conclusions. This table could change quite dramatically in a few races' time because, of course, there's still 16 races to go. Very early days in Formula 3. This Rafael Kamara kid is looking good. I've got to say, there's a lot of talented Brazilians coming around, but he's already 20 years old, so he better get a move on. He better get a move on if he wants to actually get to F1 and find a sponsor. Oh dear, they're already all like 20 years old, 19. Oh, this one's actually 18, only 17. I think he might have a chance. Soloff is 18. I think Soloff and this Stromstead kid are probably looking good. Stens, Horn, don't know. I think I don't know whether that's enough, but I'll wait. Tapperton, he's still 18. I think, funnily enough, all the drivers outside the top three are actually looking more promising in terms of their prospects to reach F1 because I mean, Formula 3, kind of like Formula 2, like Formula 2 is like the equivalent of like a football under 23s tournament, and then you get Formula 3, which is like an under 20s event. I think it's safe to say all the drivers who are 20 years old competing in this series or older than that are already have got quite bleak prospects of making F1 unless they produce a miracle. And then, of course, you get Formula 4, which is like, I don't know, under 17s football maximum. Because, I mean, if you're still racing in Formula 4 when you're 18 now, then you're in big trouble already. You know, I think you can now make a parallel in terms of like underage events. Oh, yeah, Charlie Verts, the son of Alex Verts, 19, but he is very far down the table. He does have a couple of junior titles already, but they're in the UAE and Oceania, which that's not good. That's really not good. Let's see Oscar Wirtz. This kid could do it though. Oscar, I think, has probably got a better chance of making it, but he's only competing in Euro Cup 3. Oh, what's that? Don't even know what that is, to be honest. Don't know. Let's just check. Formula Regional regulations. Yeah, it's Formula 3. Maximum budget, €400 a year, and they use Alfa Romeo engines, Hankook tyres, Tatus chassis. That's interesting. But I don't see this as this is not like a top junior series, I'm afraid, with Christian Owen winning it. Probably not. Yeah, you know what? Try and write a couple of notes on my page. Just there. Yeah, that's the same in the UK if we want. Shit. Sorry, that was a mistake on my part. Boomer errors, everyone. Boomer errors. Okay. Still racing TV, yeah. What's his name? What's it called? Oh yeah, Indy record it. I don't know. I don't know what other sort of junior events you get out around the world outside of Europe and America. I don't know. I mean, motorbikes. I mean, the thing with motorbike racing is that Moto2 and Moto3 also count as world championships, weirdly enough. I don't know why, but of course, back in the day, MotoGP, motorcycling used to have 500cc, 350, 250, 125cc, and even 50cc. So, can't make the same equivalent for like F1 and motorcycling, I'm afraid. I'll just post it. There we go. Nottingham Forest and Leicester. Let's see what's going on with this Wolfie guy in this channel. Let's see what the score is. Forest having a disaster against one of the worst teams in the league. Let's see. Oh, it's 2-2. Wow. 2-2 between Forest and Leicester. Oh, dear. Blimey, if you want to check out Forest Fan TV, you can. I'm doing Forest fans a favour because I'm a Derby fan, so you obviously... I don't even know why I'm promoting Nottingham Forest content on my channel, but, you know... Look at that, how I hate all 31 NHL teams. That's actually quite funny. And this is what I said on my Encore channel, saying I'm probably going to do lower league content, because... If you want to check out Crystal Encore, you can, but you know what, I think I'm going to end it now, end the stream now, so enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching, I'll see you again next time.